Hello and welcome to another bot bash. I am Anomalism and this is Dawn of War Soulstorm. And if you're not familiar with how a bot bash works, basically we take as many bots as we can, put them in as small a space as we can, and watch them duke it out for fun. And today we have a good showing of all the different races. The only teams we're missing are Space Marines and Dark Eldar. Can't quite have them all, but we're going to see a really fun time, I think, because we have the Dawn of War Soulstorm AI mod, the AI mod for Skirmish. Enhances the AI. I'll put a link in the description. And they play a lot smarter this way. And I've also given them a quick start, so they should build reasonably quickly a nice little army, nice little everything for resources. And we'll get to see a really creative game, hopefully very violent. Get to see the bots take it out on each other. As you can see, Chaos is going straight for 2 Chaos Temples. That is crazy. But they just have the resources for it, and I don't actually blame them. If you could build multiple Chaos Temples and support it and go in with all those forces, that'll give you a head start. Got to get all that requisition and whatnot. See the Chaos moving out with some cultists on the battlefield. See over here we've got Necrons. They'll just be capturing requisition. Not a pretty slow start for Necrons typically. They are still getting just builders. Not a bad idea early on unless you're expecting really stupidly early aggression to hit your builders, which isn't really likely. I think the map we're playing on is something or other. I forget what it's called. But the important thing is it's a map where each player starts close, but there's this dividing wall that sends you up to the top to a critical point. Otherwise you have to go through the middle to reach each other. So we should see lots of skirmish play along these middling paths and all the way to the middle, and maybe some fights on the high ground where teams charge down the ramps at each other. And of course in the back corner we actually see right now some Eldar fighting this missionary, and this missionary is not long for this world. He's got 2 groups of guardians taking shots, getting knocked down, but once he gets back up they'll quickly gun him down, and that'll be the end of that missionary. I never particularly liked the missionaries. I thought it was a unique take on the different teams in Dawn of War to have the missionary be your first available unit, a unit you can attach to troops rather than being independent squads like everyone else is. But I don't think it's terrible. It's just I never personally got into it all that much. Here we see the Imperial Guard coming to pick a fight with Chaos. That's not going to achieve much. They've got 2 Chaos Temples. You'll get torn to shreds. Cultists moving in. The Chaos Lord will hopefully do massive damage there. See people getting flung around, completely outnumbered. That's 2 squads of Chaos Space Marines? Yeah, 2 squads of Chaos Marines. See a nice army of orcs moving through. It's going to be very hard to keep track of everything, so forgive me if there's anything that I miss. There's so many troops already marching all over the map. Here we see the Sisters Battle unleashing their flamethrowers. Got the Canoness in there. This Necron Lord should actually fare pretty poorly against that. You see he's going to run away first rather than try and pick the fight. Wait for some allied forces to come up. Probably need to get some more Necron Warriors. This is the problem with that slow start of building lots of builders. Launches them way ahead down the line, but the slow start of building the forces means that your enemies get like this very quickly, especially with that quick start on resources, allowing them to get such a big force. But they're retreating, which I think is completely the wrong move. They completely outnumber the enemy. Would be absolutely devastating if they just engaged on this fight. Canoness tie up the Necron Lord and just juke it out. Do you see any fighting elsewhere? Still some fighting going on here with the Imperial Guard and the Chaos, sorry. And same again. Nope, nothing really here. Nice little support platform. I like this little defensive setup. That's pretty good. Orcs just doing orc things. See the Tau engaging a missionary in the middle. So this does seem like the big battle. The Sisters of Battle ran away. Okay. See the Eldar moving in. Got some relics being captured. I'm excited to see relic units get built. In the meantime, we've got some Raptors coming in against these Imperial Guardsmen, and this should be kind of messy for the Chaos. You're running into a heavy bolter turret, and that's very well positioned to just gun them down. And also with fortifying inside the infantry commands, yeah, it's best to run away there. See some stealth suits opening fire, kind of being a nuisance. This should be a hotly contested area because no one actually started there. And so that bonus resources could really launch the Tau or the Orcs way ahead of all opposition. But for the time being, it seems like people are more interested in fighting in the middle. We've got some Kroot Shapers, Kroot Warriors? Carnivores. Kroot Carnivores running through the center. Some stealth suits shooting at these sluggers. Over here we see the orcs engaging the Eldar. Nope, the Eldar are backing up. The AI is very conservative. The AI mod can be very conservative with how they fight. They can play the game of running back and forth to preserve their troops very well. And that's a setting you can modify when you have the mod. You can choose to make them play more conservative and cautious and smarter, or you can make them just go in like crazy. It's generally harder the more conservative they play because it makes pushing against them very difficult. They wait until they've got situations like this where they can only take an advantage to go in. But because there's so many of them, it's going to lead to a violent game. And we are going to let this run, if not for completion, then for, say, an hour and 20. If it looks like after an hour and 20 minutes there's still a stalemate, then it's a stalemate. I can't do anything about that. But right now we see the chaos going in here. Every time I come to a fight, it seems like I see someone retreating. I like the raptors with the flamethrowers, the little Bernie flamethrowers they have. But again, running into these turrets is just too hard. Is that a... What's inside there? I could have sworn I saw some bolt of fire coming from there. That would tell me there's like a heavy weapons team in there or something. Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing gunfire from there. I want to see what pops out. Because, fun fact, I didn't actually know that it... that's what I'm assuming a heavy weapons team is in there. Or is it just the Karskins? What is it? That was strange. I've never seen bolt of fire like that, but that just goes to show what kind of play I make where I don't see that defensive shooting. I am an all-offense Imperial Guard. I send my guardsmen to do the 1v1 fighting in melee range. Fixed bayonets and charge, you know? That's me in this game in a nutshell. Should stick to playing orcs. I actually don't even particularly like orcs very much. I'm much more of a Tau player, shamefully. Shamefully, I'm a Tau player. But I do kind of like at least half the races. I like them. Half of the factions, even. Chaos, I'm a big fan. One time I liked the Necrons a lot. Imperial Guard, who doesn't like Imperial Guard? Having squads of that many soldiers is just good fun. And here we see a charge down the ramp, like I said. Flamethrowers blazing. This should actually be pretty good against these Necron warriors. And we've only got some Immortals there to support, which aren't going to be very effective. As you can see, they're doing minimal damage right now. So this should be a very easy push for the Sisters of Battle, so long as the Eldar are not on the other side, causing a nightmare. And it looks like, no, they're not. Up here we've got Orcs fighting Eldar, and we've got a Guardian in there, we've got a Harlequin dancing around the edge. Such a frustrating unit. Oh, we've got another Harlequin. Oh, so many Harlequins already in there. 4 Harlequins in this one fight. That is a mess for Orcs to try and deal with. But this Farseer is running the gauntlet through all these guns and is probably going to die for that. That was much too deep of a fight. We've got a Skyray gunship picking on the Imperial Guard. Hopefully they get out their own... Even anything coming from that mech command? Not currently. They need to get out a Hellhound or get some Lehman Russ tanks. A Sentinel would actually be very good there because Sentinels are cheap, they're very fast, they can really deal with vehicles. But we see there's 2 Skyray gunships coming and causing. I love it. The missiles going up the terrain. that's so good. And then it just takes a right turn. That is some smart Tau technology, and this is why the Tau are the best. Over here we have the Eldar are really going in. That Wraith Lord should be able to just smash their way through. That settlement is in a lot of danger. If they don't have the big zapper on the big mech, tank zapper, sorry, on the big mech, they could lose their base. They could lose everything. Look at this force coming down. They've got fire dragons as well. We can see an easy elimination from these orcs. Sisters of Battle are actually basically taken the Necron commanders out of the game. And we see even a Rhino transport coming in to provide assistance. Over here, the Chaos. Oh my goodness, that is a big army. I am a little bit terrified of that, and the Imperial Guard should be too. They have this giant Chaos. The Chaos outnumber the Imperial Guard right now. That is a call to retreat right there, with the Defiler leading the charge as well. And the Tau have come in the back and just absolutely annihilated the Imperial Guard with, is that 2 or 3? Okay, two of the the Skyray gunships. Yeah, the Tau, Imperial Guard are out of this game. So are the Necrons, so are the Orcs. That leaves us with Eldar, Tau, Space Marines, not Space Marines, Eldar, Tau, Sisters of Battle, and Chaos. And as you can see, those heavy bolters are so devastating. I love heavy bolters. They're my favorite equipment in the game, I think. I love anything that just shoots a spray of bullets constantly. I love the Dreadnought upgrade that gives them a chain gun, even if it's, you know, depending on how good it is, I just love it. Same with Gorgots in the campaign. Just love upgrading his gun and letting it be a machine gun, which I know a lot of people would consider heresy because Gorgots is so good in melee, but you can't help it. I can't help it. I love it. Imperial Guard are going to try and rebuild over in this corner, but that is a fairly unsuccessful effort, if you ask me. That's not going to go very far. See I forget what that is, Eldritch Storm, I think. See a Nightwing out in the field. Just complete dominance from the Eldar here against these Orcs. That was a real shame. I would have liked to have seen the Orcs do better. But I think the quick start really tipped it in the favor of teams that do better from teching up, whereas some teams, like I believe the Orcs and the Necrons, they do better from a slow start, where they can actually build up their forces, take advantage of their early strengths, like the Orc numbers, you know, how good it is to get just squads of sluggers with flamethrowers, rather than getting lots of troops. Makes them really effective, but this is actually, devastating for the Chaos. These Skyra gunships, and the Fire Warriors, just everything. Absolutely devastating. Tore apart the Chaos push. They need this sacrificial circle. Oh. Okay, an incomplete desecrated stronghold for some reason. What they would like is Possessed Marines are good because they can take a lot of a beating and get in there, but what they really want, I don't know, it's really tough for Chaos. I think they just need more Raptors if they want to fight Tau. Raptors drop in on their ranged units, you know, so they can't really fight. Can Chaos Sorcerers teleport their attached squads? I can't remember. But if they can, you'd want a Chaos Sorcerer attached to Cultists or Possessed Marines. Teleport in on top. Oh, the Choir Gun. That was amazing. Exorcists dropping those missile bombardments. So devastating. Looks so cool as well. I think Chaos might, I'm going to call it now that Chaos will be the next to be eliminated, because they're sort of, the Tau, the Sisters of Battle and Eldar seem to have made a truce, right? Where neither of them is sort of pushing out against each other. The Eldar are going to clean up over here very slowly, and that's going to put them actually almost closer in proximity to the Tau with their army than is the Sisters of Battle, who are literally opposite side of the map right now. And Chaos is investing a lot fighting the Sisters of Battle, who are just trying to clean up the Necrons, while the Tau, after they've finished the Imperial Guard, yep, there we go, that's the Necrons out. No? Oh, that was the Orcs. The Orcs are finally gone. Once the Necrons are gone, and once the Imperial Guard are gone, the nearest enemy for the Sisters Battle and Tau are the Chaos. So I think Chaos will be next to go, while Eldar is on the other side of the map, with free reign basically right now. And you can see they actually have a relic over here already, so we could see an avatar of Cain come. I can't see any of their buildings to tell you if it's currently building, unfortunately. Maybe I'll scroll through the teams in a sec to see how they did. Over here we see, and there goes, that'll be the Imperial Guard dead. The Imperial Guard out. Next there's the Necron. The Necron are actually putting up a really good showing, and building an extra monolith is actually very important for the Necron. If you didn't know that, and you're an amateur Necron player, building a second monolith is twice the production. If you are going through units very quickly, you can build Necron warriors free in your second monolith, while your main one just, you know, because they don't cost resources. So you just build Necron warriors constantly out of your Necron monolith, send them in to die, and you get a better army in the back with your main monolith. But alas, you know, like you can build some fleet, or even just build some fleet ones in the back, and then teleport them into the enemy line while your main one produces a frontal force to fight. As you can see, here come the Eldar marching across the map. They've engaged a Tau Barracuda, but here come the Tau. Are they going to fight over the middle? That'd be very interesting if the... unfortunately, the Tau are like running past this little base emplacement here, and it's getting a lot of them killed. They really need to fight this and clear it out before they go rushing in to fight the Eldar. The Eldar are now coming over here to pick on the Sisters Battle. How's Chaos doing? Chaos forces are not in a good shape. I think the Tau are just so dominant at times. The AI, even the advanced AI like this, struggles to really face off against them. And maybe we'll get to see a Crutox. That'd be pretty cool. Or is it, I forget what the big chicken's called. We'll just call it a big chicken, because that's what it is. But maybe we'll get to see the relic unit for the Tau. I didn't realize Chaos had this listening post. That's actually incredible. seeing a demon come through would be really cool. Demon of Corn, the big guy, the big summon. Do we have a sacrificial circle? No, not currently.
You're strong. It'll be good to have that strength.
Oh, is that? No, that's a sacrificial circle. What's the other one they need? Demon Pit? I think it's a Demon Pit that I'm looking for. We need a Demon Pit to see them produce out a big boy. The big demon. And get Obliterators. Obliterators I love Obliterators, Terminators. Obliterators a little bit more than Terminators. Oh, here we go. A big jump in on this fight. I don't think the tower actually in a great position, but this commander is fully upgraded, so he'll be able to unleash hell on these units. Like, look at him devastate each individual unit with just a little bit of frontal force between the tower and the Eldar. It really is quite a devastating show of this tower commander. As long as he doesn't get pulled into melee range, he can just cause absolute havoc. And the Eldar are also a sort of stand back and shoot faction. So the Tau and the Eldar are very, it's sort of complementing to their playstyle to fight on the same level that the Tau fight on. See the Hammerhead gunship coming out. I think that means they've gone Montcar command post. I'll have a look in a minute. Was just watching this absolute mess of a fight go everywhere. See the Kroot Shapers, Kroot Carnivores, sorry, shooting, the stealth suits unloading. These warp spiders won't belong to this world. Hopefully they can warp out up here and bail back to their allies, but it looks like they might just be trapped and killed there. How are the Sisters of Battle doing? Oh boy, Wraithlord's in their base. That is not good. But they, oh, 3 of them. I thought there was just 2. That is devastating. They need to upgrade this Immolator to have the multi-melter so he can actually really be effective against these Wraithlords. And it looks like it will get cleaned up because this Inferno turret does have a multi-melter. Or melter, I'm not sure which upgrade it is. But it's got the anti-vehicle weapon, so they get cleaned up pretty handily. We see the Eldar are really starting to put some pressure on the Sisters of Battle, which I don't agree with because the Tau are being given free reign to claim this central space. The Eldar don't have the forces to really stand up to it, especially with this stealth going on over here. I didn't know they stealthed. Is that the drone harbingers? Didn't know they could stealth. That's kind of neat. I really need to pay more attention to certain factions, you know? Certain units that I never really use. Chaos, we've got the fully stealthed Chaos Space Marines and Cultists now, which is absolutely devastating. It's very difficult to deal with, especially when they have those, you know, heavy bolters in their arsenal. And we see the actual reverse of what I thought was going to happen. It's the Sisters of Battle who are getting sandwiched between the Chaos Space Marines and the Eldar, not the other way around, where the Eldar, the Space Marines are getting sandwiched between Tau and Sisters of Battle. Sisters of Battle really sort of under the pump here. It's going to be kind of, these are the key moments for them, I think, if they can repel these battles and get back in time to help defend their base before Chaos just charges over the slope and unleashes hell. But we've got a Fire Prism over here, so this battle feels like a lost effort for the Sisters Battle. Even though they have a nice force, that Fire Prism will be devastating, and with a little bit of Elder support. Actually, you know, without a Wraithlord or something bigger there, it does seem like they're sort of stuck and not going to make any progress. See over here a Shuriken Cannon. I don't see them enough, to be honest. They're pretty good. Support platform, just unleashing hell. You know, I said it's pretty good, but that Kroot Shaper is tanking to all hell. See the drone squads are just sort of hanging out, not really doing much. This is going to be the death of the chapel. They've got, fortunately, a second chapel, so it won't be the death of the faction, but this isn't good for the Sisters of Battle. Hopefully they repelled the Eldar, and it looks like it was sort of a wash. Neither team pulled ahead, but we are going to see now the Eldar are going to start pushing out in a minute, pushing the aggression on. Sisters of Battle. Oh, I didn't realize this was blocked off. Man, this map kind of has really strange channels where you're sort of forced in certain paths. I don't know if I agree with it entirely. Definitely be revisiting it in the future. It makes mobile units, ones with teleports and jumps, really interesting. That's an ethereal out on the battlefield, dropping down that space laser. But yeah, it makes your jumping units very effective, but it does sort of limit other units from properly joining in, I think, and being able to be effective. The Chaos Force is still unloading on this, but it seems like they've split up. Okay, so there's some up here, there's some there, but some of them are getting dragged away over here. And that Chaos Predator isn't going to do much with his multi-lasers, multi-melters or lasers or whatever he's got. I forget what the gold. I'm sorry, I haven't played nearly enough of every team to comment on them. But he's not really going to pull a strong showing unless he focuses the vehicles with his lasers. This does seem like the Sisters of Battle have sort of pulled off an amazing flank here, where they're sandwiching in with quite a few troops that could actually make a big difference. The Chaos sort of is stuck up on this hill now, and they've got pressure coming in from both sides. And it's sort of which side do you pick your battle, and how do you win it. And here we see the Eldar are still skirmishing with the Tau quite messily across all over the place. It'll be interesting to see who sort of comes out on top of all this. I am still hoping to see a relic unit show up pretty soon. Do we have a demon pit? Sacrificial circle. Oh, that is a demon pit. Okay, so we do have a demon pit. So we could potentially see a bloodletter of Khorne? I can't remember what it's called. Again, very sorry. This is a bit strange. All these Eldar troops are... How did they get up there? Are you meant to get up there? I don't think you are. I think they got blown up there somehow. Well, that's unfortunate for the Eldar, and very funny. Does this happen to... Yeah, it's happened to the Sisters of Battle as well. And it looks like, yeah, there's a Pathfinder up there, and is there a... I can't see a Vespid, but it looks like there must be... Yeah, there's a Vespid up there. The Vespids can at least fly away, maybe, potentially? That's funny, I've never... Okay, that's a new one. This Hell Talon's actually doing amazing work. It'll get taken down pretty quickly, to be honest, but we've still got some Chaos Forces waiting in the wings, and they could still pull up here and ruin the Sisters of Battle day. Unfortunately, we're not going to see the... Oh, I can't remember the Sisters of Battle lady either, that's a bit bad. Penitent Engine coming out, devastating unit, you can only get 2 of them, I believe. Can't decide on what to fight right now, which is not great. Really just needs to pick a target and go to town on it. Running back and forth, I think it's because the Chaos are maybe still hitting it from behind, but no. This is just silly. Bad map choice. This is a bad map choice. Ban this map. There he is, Greater Narlock, that's it. The big chicken. We've seen our first relic unit. Maybe there's been another one out in the battlefield. I haven't seen the Eldar all burning or red yet, so I assume the Avatar Kane hasn't been out. I think it's Kane. What's going on here? Some shadows playing up a bit funny. Let's see what the Greater Narlock gets up to. I definitely think the Greater Narlock's kind of underwhelming, if I'm to be honest. Compared to some of them. When you've got... I guess the problem is the Tau are kind of amazing without the Greater Narlock. Whereas something like the Squiggoth, when you see it, it has a wow factor. This just seems like a big unit, right? It just seems like a Dreadnought or a really big tank. It doesn't feel like a relic unit, so to speak. Even if it has the stats to suit a relic unit. And it's very clunky with how it moves around. As you can see, it's very sluggish to move. And like, it hasn't taken jack for damage, but it just doesn't... It's the Squiggoth has a ram ability, right? And can transport units, and has a back laser. I would want the Squiggoth every time over the Greater Narlock. And that's the problem, is just for sheer cool factor, the Greater Narlock is underwhelming. Oh, is this it? Here we go, Demon Prince! Awesome. That's not the Avatar of Khorne, whichever one it is, but a Demon Prince is still very cool, and I'm happy to see it coming charging in here. It's like a mini relic unit. Again, this seems like it's on the same level as the Narlock, and basically, looking at its stats, it basically is. But then you get the actual Avatar of Khorne, or whatever it's called, and it is a different, you know, it's like dad and son, basically. I like to compare them. And this would, again, I'm not sure what the Sisters of Battle can do at this point to fend off this attack. Look for a moment, I saw a Predator tank, but it was just that Penitent Engine. Fire Prism holding them bay, Vulcan Grab Tank. Yeah, another... Oh no, that's a Falcon Grab tank as well. If they got the 2 Fire Prisms, I think Eldar can have 2 Fire Prisms, and just gunned in this spot, because you see that shot, the Sisters of Battle can't make it through that. Again, that's another unit with a real wow factor, is that cool-ass crystal bombs. Whereas the Hammerhead gunship, it almost seems to be lacking that cool factor. Like, you'd expect that big laser on the back to cause a big explosion, but all it does is, like, a lot of damage. And so it's really lacking in the cool factor. And I think the cool factor is so important in this game. You want to have, like, the Defiler. When you see the Defiler cannon hit an infantry squad and send them flying everywhere, you're like, yeah, I'm glad I got the Defiler. And when you see it rampaging in battle and swinging its claws, that's awesome. But when you have units that are just effective rather than interesting, then it loses that, and that's kind of something special. There we go, the Bloodthirster. Greater Demon of Khorne, dad and son in the battle. When you lose that cool factor, when you don't have that thing that makes you go, wow, I really want to build that unit, that's where units start to feel less impressive. That's why I actually don't build a lot of your Raptors and your Assault Marine squads, because they're just melee units and they don't feel cool. Whereas upgrading a Marine squad to have heavy bolters and you see them unload on Marines and absolutely devastate them, you know, that's a cool factor. That's where I'd want to build that. You know, I'll minimize this. I don't know why I've had it open this entire time, eating up the screen. And I can zoom out a little bit to take in more of the battlefields, but it does tend to penalize the draw distance, and sort of everything gets a little bit faded. So I try not to do too much of this unless we really need it. As you can see, the Exorcists are laying down the fire on the Eldar, making it really hard for them to progress, but we've got 2 Wraith Lords and a Fire Prism. I don't see the Sisters of Battle holding against this attack on 2 fronts, especially not with the Daemon Prince and the Bloodthirster. Amazing units. Surprised we haven't seen the Avatar of Cain yet. It would be really great. Hopefully these units get killed, to be honest, so the Eldar have their supplies freed up and can get back into it. What is that? Looks like another stealth suit, weirdly enough. Yeah, hopefully they clear up all of this. It might take forever, but hopefully they clear it up so the Eldar can build those units again. Greater Narlock getting in here. And again, it's sort of moving, and it stops, and then it turns, and then it moves, and then it stops, and then it turns. And you've just got these gunships in the back that are being so much more effective. Even the Tau Commander is being way more devastating. It's just hard to feel like the Greater Narlock does something. But then you see this guy. He's actually almost dead, unfortunately. But he's in there, he swings his axe around, he looks amazing. You know, he just looks imposing. And that's something, you know, the Greater Narlock doesn't give you. It doesn't look imposing. It's going to be a very sad thing to see him die so quick, actually. I really thought the Bloodthirster would have lasted quite a while longer, but no such luck. Bam! That sync kill. So cool. Got his flying going in, and there he goes. Sent back to the warp. We'll see him again before long, I'm sure. But again, I don't see the Sisters of Battle repelling this. They are just completely overwhelmed on 2 sides right now. And now the Tau are really pressing in on the Eldar. Like, this is amazing how aggressive the Tau are pushing in. Just because I think of these 4 gunships in the back allow them just such free reign, and the Tau Commander as well is amazing. But this is going to eventually come to a head. We're going to start seeing this kind of fighting going on, where the troops in the back start shooting, start picking at each other. The Chaos are going to start fighting the Tau pretty soon, and it'll be really interesting to see who comes out on top, because I do believe it's going to come down between Chaos and Tau at this point. Is that transporting? That's a weird visual effect. Sisters of Battle getting torn to pieces at this point by the Chaos. It's really like a shame, but there was nothing they could do. They got hit on both sides. They had a strong showing at the start, taking down the Necron forces, but now it's their turn to die. And it looks like all representation of the Imperial forces of the Imperium of Man are taken down. Daemon Prince getting a little stuck there, but everything will. I mean, it's going to take a while, but everything will die. This is a sizable base, but they don't have production. They got 2 manufactorums. Yeah, no Adeptus Sororitas Convent, 2 Holy Reliquaries, which are research buildings. It's not helping. So they're basically relying on these structures right now. I think I heard... Oh, look at that. Just in time to catch the barrage and the Sky Rays. I love the Sky Rays. Big Soulstorm, is that? No, Eldritch Storm from the Farseer. but ultimately not enough to really repel the Tau, and they're just going to keep on going. They're going to push in, and they're going to tear everything to pieces, assuming they can detect the invis. And there we've got the Montcar command post, as I predicted, as I guessed earlier, I mean. This is so painful. They just need some fire warriors that would actually do some real work against that to clear that up. Same story over here. Oh, it looks like it's only the Vespid stuck now. That fire team moved on. Some Kroots stuck in that terrain. This is a really bad map. I've never seen units get stuck in terrain like this before. I'm very sorry. It's a real mistake. There he is, Avatar of Cain. This is a cool factor unit. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. Hopefully so we can hear some of those cool screams as he attacks. And this is the push the Eldar needed. Something that can actually withstand overwhelming firepower. And look at that. Half killed a Skyray with a single attack, and then on the backswing, you know, did another quarter of its health. Why can't I hear his screams? Let's see if I can... Can we hear him? Come on, don't deny me the Avatar of Cain's voice. A little upsetting if I'm to be honest. I really like the... Oops. Really like the... Sorry, the Orc's voice just threw me there. The Avatar of Cain makes those cool screams as it swings and swipes and devastates enemies. See, the Bloodthirster coming in, the Greater Demon of Khorne again, and this should be the death of the Sisters of Battle once and for all. I know it's taken a while, I know I've said they're dying 7 times now. I do that every game. Every game I watch I say, this team's dead now, this team's dead now, and then 10 hours later they finally die. One day I will announce a team's death and they'll come back and win. That's what's gonna happen, I just can feel it, you know? They'll struggle through and come out on top. And as you can see, they need another horror squad to really burn through these buildings. Aren't they good against buildings? Just aircraft and vehicles, never mind. They need something that's good against buildings, like really effective against buildings, because right now they're just being too slow at tearing through this. But it looks like there isn't really anything left for the Sisters of Battle to build off of. And I think that's going to be the death of them. Once and for all this time. Thought I saw another command post for a moment there. Here we see some skirmishing going on. Hopefully these units up here will finally be killed by this hammerhead. Actually, that hammerhead's probably going to die itself. And there we go, Sisters of Battle out, and this fight between Eldar and Tau has really heated up since this Avatar of Cain showed up. As you see, the chicken sort of pushed in the favor of the Tau, but that's because it stood in the way while everything else did all the work. Whereas the Avatar of Cain actually makes a big difference in fights. Oh, and that is a devastating Eldritch Storm dumped straight on a bunch of valuable fire warriors. And as you can see, now the Eldar is going to push out and actually drive a lot of this back. And if they can get their units down from here, that would also really help them out. The real question though is, what is Chaos up to? Because Chaos has just defeated the Sisters of Battle. They're going to claim all these listening posts, strategic points, sorry. And then once they've claimed all that, they might push on to either hit the Eldar or regroup and then push out to attack the Tau instead and kill them. So right now I think the game stands in the hands of the Chaos on who lives and dies in the next big fight, because I don't think the Eldar and Tau are going to focus on Chaos. So I think it'll be whoever Chaos attacks will be the one who dies. But right now they're sort of getting caught on this awkward terrain. Again, a very, very difficult map to work with. See a couple of rhinos, or Chaos rhinos, rolling out there. Defiler. Love his little clankety clank as he walks. Sound design is impeccable in this game. Cannot say it enough. Will say it every time I play this, watch or play this game. Great Anarlach running around. Got a Kroot Shaper running behind him. The Crisis battle suits are pretty cool, but I prefer the broadsides. The broadsides are just so devastating. It's hard not to love them. I know you have to deploy them to get the full effect out of them, but once they're deployed, oh my god, they are really just a top unit. I'm not sure why the AIC feels the need to build so many paths to Enlightenment. That feels a bit strange, but to each their own, I guess. The Demon Prince here does seem to be intervening. Actually, this could be bad for Chaos. If Chaos comes in and stands between the Tau and the Eldar, this could turn into a really three-way fight where there's no clear leader or winner, so to speak. Because I thought the Chaos were going to keep marching up and maybe hit the Eldar's forces, but no, they've just planted themselves smack bang in the middle of everything. And now they're going to get sandwiched between Eldar and Tau and basically lose their army without doing really the kind of work they need to be doing to put themselves in the lead. See the Rhino going in for some reason. Predator tank will make a big difference if he focuses on those fire prisms. 2 fire prisms, and they just drove straight into the pack. That fire prism's going to go down. We see the Bloodthirster is actually holding off the Eldar quite effectively, who are trying to run in and engage. And Chaos is actually faring way better out of this than I thought they would, although there's nothing they can really do about this Great Narlock but bring in their Bloodthirster, who is busy chasing units off in the distance. It's so hard to decide who's going to win this. I think the Tau are going to come out on top overall, because no one's putting the pressure on them. But it's still not going to be like a clear, definitive victory. Actually, it will be if these Chaos Space Marines keep targeting the Narlock, because they'll just waste all their DPS on that instead of on valuable units. And this Daemon Prince, he's picking off the Tau Commander, I believe? Or is the Tau Commander up here? I couldn't see what he was killing, but I believe it was the Tau Commander. He was around here just a minute ago. Oh no, there he is, Tau Commander. He's very small compared to everyone else. We see, and the Daemon Prince is now going to go down. Took out the broadside though, not the broadside, the battle suit. Very good. There he goes. The Predator tank is going to start to retreat, but there is a lot of pressure on here. I've got another Predator coming in, but with the las guns, they're not going to deal much effective. They're not going to be very effective. What happened to that Bloodthirster? I assume he was finally taken out. See a drive-by Devilfish Troop Carrier, but that Devilfish Troop Carrier is going to die as well. Do we see anything going on back here? The Eldar need to swing up the back here and pick off this Command Center and Coalition Center. That would give them a little bit of a lead on the Tau, taking out some of their tech. Avatar of Cain is still alive, but that's a big deal. Not because the Avatar is going to do much at this point, it's pretty weakened, but because it tells us that in the fight with the Bloodthirster, the Eldar handled it pretty handily. I mean, we see they've got 2 Fire Prisms, 2 Grav Tanks, and some Warp Spiders, a Seer Council. They should be able to just fight this pretty handily, even with two Predator tanks. Like, they've got the 2 Fire Prisms and then auxiliaries to assist them. So this will get cleaned up by the Eldar. But again, this stalemate in the middle is becoming quite impressive. Neither side of the 3 seems to be able to push out. Still got that building selected. Let's pick something else. Get some stealth suits, Pathfinders. Pathfinders are quite a funny unit, just because they're clearly meant as a support unit. So you only ever really want one of them for the use of their ability, but they're just it's funny how they just seem to be carrying like pistols. There we go, we've got another Bloodthirster. He should really, again, this battle will tip the tide a little bit towards Chaos, but it's just such a stalemate, and this is so effective, these 4 gunships. That's been like the staple of the Tau force this entire battle, is a load of infantry and these 4 gunships backing it up. And those 4 gunships, the 3 Skyrays and the 1 Hammerhead, just being so effective because that much missile attack power from such a large distance makes it so hard for vehicles to aggress. And we actually have seen some Chaos aggression up the back here, but ineffective overall, partly because they're getting stuck on these Vespids up the top, and also these drone squads are really interfering, but we haven't seen much, if any, aggression over on this left side. It's like the outer edges are being ignored for the middle battle, and the middle battle is really cool, but it seems to just be almost perpetual. So I might take this moment to go through the different remaining teams who are still alive. So Tau, here we are. They are featuring full capacity, like massive amounts of resources. If anything, they seem to be lacking in gas quite a bit. Over a little bit, we have Chaos, again full. They somehow overcapped their infantry. Daemon Prince in the middle bit. Where's the Chaos Sorcerer? Oh, yeah, Daemon Prince and Bloodthirster. Got the Chaos Sorcerer running around. They need to get their Chaos Lord in there as well. I think you can have a Chaos Lord and a Daemon Prince. They've been doing well this game. They're quite well spread out. I'd say they have not quite half the map. If they could take a couple of listening posts down here, that would be about half the map. But right now, they are doing quite well in how much they occupy. Eldar, about a third of the map. maybe like 1/4 realistically. That is like dead set 1/4 of the map, like that. And then I think that means that again, the Tau have about 1/4 as well. So right now I'd say Chaos is in the lead when it comes to resources and things like that. But overall, I wouldn't say they're at a winning position because the enemy composition is still very strong and they still have ample resources backed up. So it'll be very hard for Chaos to win even a war of attrition at this point. What they really need to do is be smashing into some of these production buildings, making some headway just somewhere. Oh, can I catch it? Yeah, another barrage going off. So cool. But unfortunately, looks like this battle is... And Chaos has kind of retreated from the battle. They're pulling over to the right to pick on the Tau. And this is sort of playing into what I was saying earlier about Chaos could really pick who's going to win this fight. Because Tau has... They had a lot of their forces tied up here. It seems like everyone's starting to move around a bit. And this is actually being a very kind of interesting nuisance to the Eldar. But this is kind of what I was saying. If the Chaos come and attack one of the sides, rather than trying to pick the fight in the middle, then it could really tip the scales, because fighting the Tau at home means the Eldar can push out. And maybe we'll see the Eldar start to aggress somewhere else, but for the time being they're caught on these defilers. Everyone really wants this point, and I think it currently belongs to the Tau. But it's just so hard to make it up these narrow paths. You kind of need to push in from the outsides where you get these dips where you can hide infantry in. I think the other thing is the Eldar have the most infantry tied up in these stupid places. I think that looks like 4 squads, at least 5? Looks like 5 squads that they have tied up in these stupid places. 6. That's almost your infantry camp. Like that's more than half your infantry tied up. And so that's really hindering what the Eldar can do in this game and how they can contribute and fight. I'm surprised the Stingwings are still up here, because they could just drop down with, you know, teleport. The Builder must have got knocked up there, so that must be how it can happen. Oh.
The Cadra will crush them.
Devastating hit to all of their morale. Tau morale crushed along the map. I wonder why. I wonder if that was the Ethereal dying or something. It looked like a Chaos effect, so I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. I can't remember what Chaos can do that kind of thing. Maybe it's a Chaos Sorcerer thing? See here, some Vespids getting poked at, but again, without a more strong showing, that's not really going to make a difference. I feel like the team I last viewed is the one I'm hearing the most, so let's put it on Chaos. I want to hear Chaos shouting. No, can still hit Tau. How annoying. This Bloodthirster sitting right in the middle. Oh, the Earthgeist is just gonna oh no, sorry, that's a Skyro missile. Oh, nice. That was a pretty cool attack. Get that out of our way so we can see the full picture of the battle. This fucking Grav tank retreating. Yeah, kill those squads off, but really this is just a waste of Hammerhead gunships, because they're not going to win against... no, they'll kill the Dragon Warriors. Are they Dragon Warriors? Fire Dragons, sorry. Good, good, good. Free up Elder Supply so they can actually get back in the mix of it. Yep, kill off another squad. Do it. Help the Eldar get back in this game. Because the Eldar, considering how many forces they had trapped up there, have really been doing amazing. That Bloodthirst is finally going to go down. Got the Greater Narlock in there. It's a pity we haven't seen any Krutox. I like Krutox a lot. And I think it's a shame to go with Mont'ka instead of Kuyon. I like Kuyon a lot more than Mont'ka. I think, if I'm remembering it correctly. I always felt like the upgrades were decent, but I liked the advantages the other side gave you. Or maybe I'm getting it back to front. I can't remember. It's sad because I've actually played Tau recently, and I should be able to remember the difference between the Kuyon and Mont'ka command posts and what they unlock for you. But unfortunately, you don't tend to see the full effects in the game. You might already have won by that point because it's very high up the tech tree. And unless you do something like Quick Start, where you start with a lot of resources, you know, you don't get that chance to really feel it. Again, stalemate maintaining in the middle. No one's really making any headway. This is just a nuisance for Chaos. Chaos may never get past this section just because of the squads on the high ground. At least over here, we're finally going to see a death of all these units. What a relief that the Eldar can finally build some more infantry. Banshees, Guardians, and a Fire Dragon squad. If they just rebuild those 3 squads and send them into the middle, that would make a huge difference. You can already see devastating. Like, Fire Dragons are amazing against vehicles. Got the Wraith Lords going in. There's no fighting on the left side, which is interesting. Like, the left side is just left untouched. I guess that's been taken recently. That or the Eldar have been slacking on listening posts. Oh no, there's a webway. What am I talking about? That's controlled by Chaos? Yeah, it's Chaos. No listening post there, no listening post there. A little bit strange. That's just not controlled by anyone. See some demon horror squads dropping in. They're not really effective against the Farseer. And I think, yeah, she's going to Eldritch Storm that. And that's going to just destroy those units. Ineffective. The fight rages over here again, still going. And this is the kind of stalemate I meant. If this stalemate, look at this. They're just not moving because they can't, get to these troops. So you're just going to see a Bloodthirster standing on the low ground, twiddling his thumbs. What would do it is if they sent a Marine squad with heavy bolters and just unloaded and killed all that. Another Chaos Rhino piling through. I have been impressed with how aggressive the AI has been, like how tough they've been, both in fighting and in rebuilding, harassing, just all round they've been very good. But now we see what might be the real problem for the Tau is being able to see the Eldar. This is actually pretty good for them. This is a very good fight for the Tau to take because the Eldar don't have any forces back here. So they could actually take out that. They could take out the webway assembly. Really just pick off stuff in the back, but without being able to detect invis, without having some sort of infiltration detection, they won't be able to take out these buildings, which would actually be devastating for the Eldar if they lost those. And we see for the first time this critical point is being claimed by someone else. The Eldar have taken it from the Tau. That has got to be a real disgrace to the Tau. And this is what happens when you're a filthy Tau supporter. If you like their cowardly tactics, then you deserve to have your critical points captured by the Eldar. Honestly, the Eldar and Tau are on the same level for me for scumbag teams. It's not as bad as like in some RTS games you get teams where you're just like, that team is overpowered, that team's not okay, like no one thinks it's a cool team to play. But in this one, the Tau are sort of, if you have lots of fire warriors and gunships and things, they're devastating from a distance, but you can get a leg up on them. And so the Tau can feel really strong at times, but then they can just crumble in other circumstances. I know that sounds very generalist, but it feels like they have like an arc of strength where their mid-game is really strong, and then when you start getting to vehicles, they have some vehicles that make a very strong showing, but they don't have any of those wow factor vehicles like the fire prisms, and they don't have like the Dark Elder jet bikes where you can just build 1 million of them and send them in and wholesale slaughter your enemies. They feel kind of clunky when it comes to vehicles, and that's why I do prefer like the Krutox, because it's a beefy melee unit that can sort of supplement your forces. It's something where you can sort of just put it in the way for a while and protect you, while if you rely heavily on your vehicles, you sort of need something to keep the enemy's vehicles from hitting you back, and you're just relying on taking them down. It sort of becomes an artillery fight, and the Tau, their Sky Rays kind of are their artillery. That's like the longest range thing they have. So it's sort of a bit messy for the Tau, I feel, later on. And feel free to correct me. Maybe the Tau are actually one of the best teams late game. Maybe they are the best team late game. But I've always felt that, their lack of like a Wraith Lord or a Dreadnought that can just withstand a lot of force, that's amazing. The lack of a Wraith Lord, basically. The lack of that beef unit that you send in, other than the Krutox, is what I've always felt for them. When I personally play them, the love I have for the Tau is for their fire warriors, you know, doing devastating damage to infantry, and their Tau commander and their broadside battle suits. But it's very positional, that kind of fighting, using the battle suits. It's not very, you know, precise, so to speak. Have we seen much headway over here? Nope. I mean, there's more forces over here, but we're not seeing any headway. They're just kind of there. Chaos Sorcerer, Demon Prince. Yeah, nothing.
Setting stabilizers.
So it's actually come down to mostly just being Eldar and Tau in the middle now, and the Eldar are winning this fight because the Tau are being dragged over here to fight. And this is ultimately what I said earlier. Chaos will pick who dies next. It's just, it takes a long time for it to happen. That's a very strange spot to shoot. Oh, that is... Got the Farseer, but I think you unloaded on your own Narlock there more than anything. And again, the Tau's relic unit is just really disappointing. They needed a cool mech or a cool vehicle. That's what they needed. There's not, like... When you look at the relic units, you got the Land Raider. Is it the Land Raider? I think it is. The Land Raider. The Squiggoth is like a cool monster. Avatar of Cain, sorry. Demon Prince. Great Demon of Khorne. I always get the Demon Prince and Great Demon of Khorne confused. Father and son, I always mix them up. Imperial Guard have the Baneblade. Necron have the Nightbringer? Is he their relic unit? I'm pretty sure he's their relic unit. Oh no, the Awakened Monolith, that's gotta be their relic unit. Nightbringer's his own thing. Tau, you've got the Narlock. Yeah, it feels like later on, some teams, their relic units just feel underwhelming. For one reason or another. Like, the Narlock is not kind of... It's not amazing. The Baneblade is amazing. The Awakened Monolith is amazing. The Angel, I can't remember what she's called, but the Angel from the Sisters Battle, she's amazing. But the vehicle the Dark Eldar get, it's meh. It's there. It's a unit, but it's not cool like the Baneblade. You know, same with, again, the Narlock. It's there, but it's not cool like the Squiggoth is. You know, it doesn't have that wow factor. And I can't say that word enough, wow factor, because this game has that appeal. It has that appeal of, I've got a really cool army, I'm going to watch this really cool battle and watch explosions and fighting going on. We are starting to drift dangerously close to my timer, though, of 1 hour and 20 minutes. And if we get to there, I'm sorry, I am just going to have to call it, because it will look like a stalemate at that point. Like, even these cultists can't even kill these drone squads at this point, and the Bloodthirster is just standing there and dying instead of getting involved in the fight. Got this, you know, greater Narlock up the back. Nothing's changed for a long time for the teams. Everything's become very static. Even as the Eldar have been slowly pushing out here. Didn't they capture that? Why is that a Tau flag? Oh, it's got no owner. Why does it have a Tau flag? Very strange. But even as the Elder push out here, they're still not making any headway, which is amazing, like shocking amazing, because they have so much of an army here. They should just be able to push up there. But again, the problem is all these units got stuck on the terrain. Just a bad map design in general. I'm really shocked by it. Didn't imagine such a thing could exist like that. See these drone squads getting shot by grenades now, but again, unless the drone squads die outright, you know, they're not gonna go anywhere. In fact, where is Chaos's army? See some berserkers running in? Space Marines? Oh. They found it. God damn it. Really bad map. Alright, I think I'll call it at 1 hour instead of an hour and 20 minutes, because simple fact of the matter is, too much is getting stuck on the map. This is a terrible map. And I've kind of run out of things to say at this point. Like, the stalemate may continue indefinitely because so many units are caught on the terrain like that, instead of being able to run free. I can't believe this feels like a massive oversight, but Soulstorm does have some stuff like that, where units where things were overlooked. Definitely won't be running this map again. I thought it would be cool because I like the back areas up here. I like this downhill sort of thing. You can get units up here and shoot down there, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, rushing down the ramp and shooting over the ledge at your neighbor. Things like that I thought were really cool. Would make for some cool fighting, but the layout of getting units stuck up here, that's just unusual, right? That doesn't happen on a normal map. This should be just a zone where things aren't allowed to appear. It should just be blocked off. But maybe they had it so you could, like, jump units up there to give you height advantage. But even that feels like a strange decision, and in these spots you definitely shouldn't be able to be getting units in there or stuck or anything like that. But it's not just units there, they are actually stuck inside. You can see there's units clipped inside the terrain beyond the wall. So that just feels like a major oversight. Massive battle going on here. This will be the final battle for the video, I think. We're seeing AI coming in from all sides, predator tanks, gunships. Looks like, again, I have to hand this battle to the Eldar. Even though that Greater Narlock is there, the Eldar just have the strongest showing of forces right now. Although, to be fair, the predator tanks are chewing through those prism tanks. And without those, the Eldar's forces, it's mostly just infantry at that point. And I do have to give it less credit. So we'll see who manages to take this. Oh, was that a Skyry gun? Nope. Oh, it's the Ethereal. Nice big explosion there, going to chew through some health there. It's making for a really interesting back and forth fight here, but unfortunately there's just not enough. And again, the Tau, as much as the Eldar was sort of pushing back, they weren't making enough headway to make a difference. If anything, the Tau look like they're the ones who are going to inevitably... No, I can't even say they would inevitably win, because even if they managed to push through on this side and take down things, they still need to get infiltration detection, and they don't have that. So they're never going to see the enemy bases to actually fight against it. And so with another battle here, won and lost, I think it's time to actually just finally call it there. Everyone put on a really good showing, but due to map errors and issues... Oh? No, they're still stuck. Due to map errors and issues, we will call it there. I did just have to see if they were going to move on to attack over here and take out that, because if they took out that, there's a shaping center or vehicle beacon, and the Tau's base is exposed from the back, and they could rampage through. And these are some big units, but they just stuck on this.
Burst cannon, fire!
They really need to update this game. I joke about that, but it could happen. We're in the day of remasters, and Dawn of War was still a very loved game. We could see a remaster of this game in our lifetime. In the next 5 years even, I would say, is not unrealistic. And it is the perfect game for it, because it doesn't look bad already, but you could really, tool this up and make it look pretty. You could add in and do things with more powerful PCs now, because when this game came out, it was like cutting edge. Not quite cutting edge, but it was really pushing the computer at the time. You needed a decent computer to run this at full graphics and full quality because of these big scale battles and all the cool effects going on and all the cool violence. And it was really amazing to have back then. Like I went from Warcraft 3 to this, and these graphics blew my mind. So you could definitely see a remake of this game done up even better, even shinier. Clean up some of the more wonky stuff, the weirder glows, and then release it, and you would find so much love for it, especially if they went and gave some attention to those teams that struggled a bit, were a little bit underloved in their designs, like the Sisters Battle and Dark Eldar. It'd be cool to see just a little bit of a touch up for them. Again, another stalemate here. It's been cool watching them, but alas. Just having one quick look around, seeing if there's anything I missed, but it looks like that is it. And we will call it there. Let's see how they all did. This will be very telling. So going to the score screen, we go with the overview. The top player was Computer 3, who's the Eldar. That's actually kind of surprising. I think it's mostly just due to resources. Resources, as you can see, they're 10k above the next nearest, and that has an overwhelming value. But I do believe military is much more important. So we'll go through technology, resource, and then military to see how these scores squared up, and then we'll sort of review it on our own. But military, I think, is the big factor here. So we've got unit upgrades, research count. A little bit weird. I don't know if the teams capped out their researchers. The captured strategic points, so we've always got chaos here, unit upgrades, you know, we've got research count, so it looks like chaos completed their tech tree. Well, that must be Tau, and this is Eldar. That's team 2 was Eldar. Seems very strange that they had the 2 relics, that they only had 23 researchers. I thought the Eldar had more than that, but maybe I'm mistaken. Because surely, does it count the... Maybe it doesn't count the unlocking of each unit at a webway, at your, you know, your unit producing buildings. Maybe it doesn't count those. Over in resources, requisition, none of those matters. This doesn't matter. This shouldn't count. Military, here's the big one. Okay, we'll just check who the teams were. So Tau, we've got Eldar, Tau, and Chaos. Eldar had a lot of units killed, but lost the most units. Very devastating. Had the biggest army size, very impressive. Raised a decent number of buildings, but also lost a ton. Their score was unimpressive. Units killed 1,009 from the Tau. That is amazing. They only player to reach 1,000 kills in that game. Very impressive. They also had substantially smaller army size than the Eldar, but the Tau, I'd say, were least affected by units getting stuck on buildings. They also lost considerably less than the Eldar, but Chaos lost even less units to them. So it's very kind of telling that the game played this way. That the Chaos forces, you know, had less units killed, did less combat, but the Tau, you know, I don't know. It's all sort of evens out in the end, I guess. The buildings raised from the Chaos was definitely from them taking out Sisters of Battle. Very good showing there. Very proud of them. And overall, I think the game does have to go to the Tau. My Tau bias showing itself again, but I think the winner has to be the Tau, just for that sheer kill count and overall performance. Let's review some of the stuff through the game. So the Tau were the ones who eliminated the Imperial Guard, and fairly early too, while the Eldar killed the Orcs almost straight away. So that was a very strong showing of the Eldar. But then the Eldar didn't do anything basically for the rest of the game. They sort of punched up the Sisters of Battle, who took out the Necrons, by the way, but it was Chaos who were the ones who killed Sisters of Battle. Eldar, they killed the Orcs, and they got embedded in a war with the Tau, and the Tau were clearly pulling ahead in that fight. Like, they were doing the kill lead by far, and maybe it was affected by those units caught up, but it really feels like a more impressive showing from the Tau there. So while the Tau and Eldar felt like they didn't do much, you know, from like the first kill onwards, and Chaos did push out and do a bit more, it still feels like that the Tau did the most overall with their aggressive play. I don't know, it was around even. Really even. And that's a really impressive showing for the AI. So that is all for this video. Join me again next time for more of this content, for more more Dawn of War, more other bot bashes, and please, what's your favorite team below? Because I'd love to hear what everyone liked to play as, and what teams would you like to see fight? Maybe in smaller scale 1-on-1s or 2-on-2s, 4-way free-for-alls. Just throw me a suggestion. I can do it. I'll do it. I love to watch it. I'll you know, do 3-on-3s, so on and so on, so long as it doesn't require 8 players, because I can't quite do that currently. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Please come again for the next video. I love making them, and I'm just happy to share them with people. So thanks a lot.